All right, decision maker meeting part 2, solutions and the close.
Excellent. So yeah, as I was mentioning, this is really great information, and it's definitely allowed me to identify a few programs that would be a great fit for you and your people. Now, first things first, with you having all these 40-year-olds, what that kind of tells me is that you've got a lot of newer families, meaning you've probably got a lot of family plans on your medical. You have younger kids that are in that like 5 to 12-year-old range. So there's definitely folks using the insurance. In fact, I heard you mention earlier that you've been to the urgent care quite a bit with your own daughter. So
yes.
So probably the first plan that I think would be a really great fit for you guys would probably be our accident coverage. Now, it's not like your AD&D plan that you have with that group term life plan. Our accidental coverage is designed to help cover those day-to-day visits to doctors and hospitals for any kind of an accident or injury. If your daughter slices her finger open and you take her to an urgent care, it seems like you're on the hook for $50. If you go twice a month, that's $100 out of your pocket, right? We have a plan that will actually cover that.
Okay.
At 100%.
Did you know I just found out gymnastics is the most dangerous sport? Cheerleading is the most dangerous sport?
I have heard that a number of times
yeah,
also.
Didn't know that getting into it.
Well, if you
now,
toss your daughter in the air and it comes down the wrong way, that's probably could break some bones, so yeah.
All right.
But anyhow, so to that point, yes, if she's in gymnastics and she does, turn an ankle or, unfortunately sprain or strain or break something, like, those are visits to orthopedics, to physical therapy, x-rays, all kinds of different facilities, and those are co-pays out of pocket every single time. Our plan's gonna cover all that stuff.
Okay.
What's really great about this plan is that for a single person, I know you're not single, but for a single person, it's $5 a week. For a whole family, it's like 10.
Okay.
So, and what's really cool, I didn't mention this before, back to the part about the payroll deduction, as you're aware, anytime an employee, especially on your medical, contributes towards any kind of an insurance plan, that deduction or contribution comes out before taxes. And the advantages to that is that it will not only save the employee money on their taxes, but it also saves the company on their taxes.
Correct. Yeah.
Not that they're gonna get rich off of, a tax savings from things that cost $5 and $10, but everybody still stands to gain a little bit of a tax break. So,
okay, fair enough.
Kind of a cool feature, right? So the accident coverage will be really good for these folks. The other thing, to kind of bring up, a lot of your 40-year-olds, especially since you're 80% men, they still think they're invincible, and a lot of them are either still playing sports or still doing dumb things. I'm one of those people.
I'm married to one of those people.
Yep. So, they tend to turn knees and ankles and hurt their hips and everything else, and so this accident plan is going to cover any kind of an accident or injury that anybody can sustain. So, make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. The other plan that I think that would be a really great fit for you guys certainly would be our short-term disability policy. And the reason being is this. Given the numbers that you gave me before, if the brand new person working for your company is making about $34,000 a year, in the state-based plans, if you're in New Jersey, you're going to get about 85%, but it's capped. If you're in New York, you get 66%, but it's actually also capped at like $175 a week, which is nothing. Reality is that neither state plan is going to replace somebody's entire income. And so we have a plan that, as I mentioned earlier, would actually kind of stack right on top of the state plan to get them to the rest of their income or to whatever they need in order to pay their bills. Now, as I'm sure you can probably imagine and agree, the more money somebody makes, the worse of a problem they're going to have if they're out of work. So let's take one of your truck drivers for a second. Truck driver that's making $300 to $500 a day, even $300 a day, on the low end, times 5 days is $1,500 a week, right? Times 4 weeks is roughly $6,000 a month. Obviously, if they're out of work, they can't afford to live off of the $4,000 a month that the state's going to pay them, because what do they do about that other $2,000, right? On top of that, you know what COBRA is, right?
I sure do.
So if a person ends up out of work due to a non-work related situation, you're going to put them out on state disability, but then you're also going to put them out on COBRA. The tough part here is that if they're out of work because of a sickness or an injury, don't they need to be able to still see doctors and hospitals? But where do they get the money to pay for the health insurance while they're out? still got a mortgage, still got rent, still got car payments, utilities, all those other bills keep going.
Yeah.
But now they have a new bill, and that's called their health insurance. So they'll be interested in being able to pick up a plan that will make them whole, so they can pay all of their bills instead of a portion.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what disability does. You know, and obviously you can go further up the gamut, like if you got somebody making, you know, $500 a day, they're making $10,000 a month, like it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, questions on the disability at all?
About how much does that run them? You know?
It depends on how much they select. You know, on the low side, it's probably $7-8 a week. On the high side, it could be up to $15-16 a week. Obviously, the more money they make, the more money they need to replace.
Sure.
Therefore, it's going to cost a little bit more money to do so, but they won't have any problem with that because they need to cover themselves. So that's that one. You know, the other plan that I think would be a really good fit for you guys would be our dental plan. You know, just to kind of take a step back, as you mentioned before, the reason why you're not offering dental is because you want to continue to offer a good core medical insurance plan. Because obviously that is the most important thing is somebody's physical health. I would imagine you've had a lot of people ask about dental though.
Sure.
And the toughest part about offering dental is that if it's going to be, you know, employee funded, it's either A, not a good plan, because it's like a discount plan, or
Right.
B, you can't get enough participation, right? You go and you try to offer it all 75 and like 12 want it because it costs an arm and a leg or something like that, right? So it's tough to do that. In our world here, with any one of these plans, if only one employee wants the dental plan, it's a full-fledged PPO plan.
Okay.
We are in the top 5 networks in the country. They'll have plenty of access to the services that they need to take care of their teeth accordingly. So, what's cool about that too is that you can add a vision rider to it so they can kind of get the best of both worlds.
Okay.
So, any questions on that at all?
No.
From a cost perspective again, you know, on the low end, the dental could be $8-9 a week. On the high end, it could be $12-15 a single person. It could be as high as $25 a week for a whole family. But again, it is pre-tax. So they're gonna, you know, $25, even if you have a whole family picking up a dental plan, $25 pre-tax is more like $19.
Right.
Very
Okay.
affordable, so.
Okay. And I could pick up maybe half of that if I wanted to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100% you could. Yeah, as I said at the beginning, you know, this is a voluntary plan. But if you decide you want to contribute $5 a week or whatever it is you want to do, we have a lot of employers that do that in this day and age, you know. Because most employers like yourself never wanted to stop offering these good benefits. They know their employees need it. So.
Right. Yeah, I want to encourage them to participate in it too.
Sure, yeah. The last plan I would say, you know, 40 is an interesting age, right? Because there are people that are in their 40s that are like think they're gonna live forever. And then there are people in their 40s that already think that, like, you know, because life is over, they have their family on both sides has a history of illnesses and things that start at 45, and they're like, oh no, you know, like, so what we do in that kind of a scenario is we offer you something called a critical illness plan, right? And what that does is that allows somebody who does have those concerns to pick up a plan that's gonna help with that deductible. Because regardless of who the individual is, the fact remains the same that if somebody does have a heart attack, a stroke, gets cancer, what have you, they're going to need treatments and surgeries, and those types of things will immediately initiate that deductible needing to be paid. So whether it's $1,500 or $3,000, rather than coming out of pocket for that money, they can have a plan that costs less than $5 a week that will cover that stuff.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we would offer that as well, and they can kind of decide how to structure that. But any questions on any of this stuff?
And they can cover their spouses and their kids on all of these, well, not disability.
Not disability, but the other ones.
The
they
other
can.
ones.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, no,
absolutely.
this sounds great. Yeah.
Cool, excellent. Any questions about any of this?
I don't think so.
Okay. Basically, what we do next is we set up a day to educate your staff. Now, obviously, you've got some moving parts, given that you're a trucking and warehousing company, right? And my understanding is you're 24 hours, 3 shifts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what we typically do in a world like yours is your first shift comes on at what, 7 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
And they work until 3?
Yep.
And then
We've
your
done
other
this
shift
before.
comes on at 2 p.m.?
Work till 11.
I work till 11.
Yep.
And
You know.
yeah, 11 to 7. Got it.
Correct, yeah.
What we typically do in this world is this. Your warehouse folks, they're coming in at 7. What we'll generally do is their first break is usually somewhere around 9:30 or 10. And we'll do a quick 15-minute meeting for them during their first break. Okay? We'll give them all the information. They'll take it back to their respective areas of work, and then we'll basically get a list from them. We'll do a quick meeting, and then anybody who's interested will send around a pad. And if they're interested in our products and services, they'll just put their name on there and then go back to work. Okay? We'll do the next meeting, and what we typically do with a company like that's 24 hours like yours is we kind of do multiple presentations, and then we'll come back the next day and start the enrollments at the same times as we did the presentations. So,
Oh, okay.
so first day we'll do a meeting at 9:30, give them all the information. Second day, we will do another meeting. I guess you're 2 p.m. to 11. Those folks usually take break at 5, I guess.
Yeah, right around there, 4:30, 5 o'clock.
4:30, 5 o'clock. Now sometimes what we will do, and you tell me if you think this would be a better fit, since if they have break at 5 and they have dinner at 7:30, sometimes we'll bring pizza for them at dinner
I
time.
like that. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll probably do pizza for them at dinner time then. We may even start the enrollment for those folks right afterwards, just because over the course of the night, things get slower in the warehouse.
Sure.
So,
Yep.
so we'll bring pizza at dinner time for them at 7:30. And then your overnight shift, those folks usually have a break around 2 o'clock in the morning. We will have somebody on site to do a meeting for them at 2
Really?
o'clock in the morning. We sure will.
Wow.
We sure will. We'll have somebody here at 2 a.m. to do that meeting, and then we'll probably even, because it's, again, slower, we'll probably start enrollment after that too. We would bring pizza at 2 a.m., but the pizza places are all closed, so that's out. And that would kind of cover your warehouse people, right? Now, your truck drivers, I'm assuming they all start around 5 to 6 in the morning?
Yes, we try to have them out by 6:30 so that they can be gone before the 7 a.m. shift starts.
Excellent. Do they pack their own truck or do the warehouse workers?
The
do?
warehouse workers do.
All right, so what we typically do with the truck drivers is this. As they come in at 5 a.m., we'll meet with them for like a quick 3 minutes, put the information in their hand.
Okay.
Naturally, when they're on their stops, they have the ability to kind of read through the information and what have you. They usually get back anywhere from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Okay. Because we're still here doing these other meetings, we'll usually do an enrollment like yours with 2 people, so one can continue on in one place or one can connect with the other people in another department.
Sure.
So as they come back in, we'll talk to them and see who's interested in the information and wanting to sign up, and we'll handle getting them enrolled as well. Your office staff, how many people are in your office?
We have in the office 10 folks.
10 folks, okay. Assuming everybody eats lunch there too?
Yes, they're 8 to 4, so lunch is anywhere from 11:30 to 12:30.
Okay, any reason why we wouldn't be able to get all 10 together for pizza lunch also?
Yeah, a couple
We
on
can
a
split
hybrid
it.
schedule, so if you came on a Wednesday, we could get everybody.
Okay, keep that in mind here. All right, so yeah, so 11:30 to 12 kind of is their lunch thing. So we would provide pizza lunch for all of you in the office as well, so. And that's pretty much it. What we like to try to do, realistically, is to wrap all this up in 48 hours. We're not trying to camp out. We know people are gonna be interested, but we also know that they have a job to do, so we do manage that well.
Okay.
We don't spend a lot of time with people. We gather their information, figure out what they're gonna sign up for, we get them enrolled, get them to sign off, and go get the next person. So, and typically what we'll do, as I mentioned, is we have the 2 people on site. So it doesn't take that long at all. In fact, out of 75 people, realistically, you'll have about 30, just because of the mindset of these folks. These are blue collar folks. Some of them, like I said, they're gonna live forever. They're all set, and some of them are, very interested. So adding this type of a group, that's what we could expect. And so if we have, 2 people on site at all times to get through, 30 people really is not more than a day and a half anyway.
Okay, great.
Does that make sense?
Sure does.
All right, looking out ahead, from a preparation standpoint, we like to put up a poster to alert everybody that we're coming. You mentioned Wednesday would be probably the best day to, I guess, kick it off, if you will.
Sure, yeah.
So why don't we, is next Wednesday too soon, or do you wanna try to shoot out for the following Wednesday?
I think we're okay, because today's Tuesday, so I think next Wednesday would be all right.
Gotcha. All right, so, so Wednesday, the 4th of October?
Sure.
All right, so Wednesday the 4th.
Will you send me a calendar invite for that?
I will, I'll send it to you as soon as I get back to the office today. Since it is next week, I have the posters in the car. I'll go ahead and fill them out and bring them in. Based on your operation, you probably need about 3 posters. One for the truck drivers, one for the warehouse, like in the cafeteria, and one for the office folks.
Yeah.
So,
Yep,
I'll
that
fill out
sounds
3
good.
posters. Also, before next Wednesday, are you around either this Friday in office, or if Monday is a bad day, Tuesday, to just do a quick account setup? Takes about 10 minutes. It's pretty easy.
If you come early on Friday, I can do it, like
Okay.
anytime before 10.
9?
Yeah, 9 would be perfect.
All right, so I'll come back this Friday at 9 a.m. Shouldn't take more than 10 to 15 minutes tops. You're probably pretty computer savvy, so
Yes,
you know,
yes.
it's all done online. It's pretty simple. So, any last questions for me?
I don't think so. I think this is gonna be a nice addition to our benefits. So I think people are gonna get excited about it. Do you have anything actually that I can email out to the office folks?
I do. I'm going to give you, I did bring this with me. This basically is a quick overview. But what I will do is I'll send you an electronic copy also, so that
Okay.
you can send it out to some of your remote people and what have you.
Yeah, just maybe take a look.
Yeah, absolutely. But it just has some basic information on each one of the products inside. So,
Perfect.
alrighty.
All right, thanks so much, Dylan.
Excellent.
And also I'll see you Friday at 9.
You got it. I'll see you
All right,
then.
super.
Thanks again.
Sure thing.
You got it. Take care.
You too. Solutions on the close.